we go. And bring this up. Okay. You hear me okay? From the haiku master, Kobayashi Issa. O snail, climb Mount Fuji, but slowly, slowly. We're still exploring patience. And as I've listened in the last few weeks to David and Catherine, Lori and Lee, at one point I had the image of a kaleidoscope. There are lots of facets and colors to the way we can look at the parami of patience. As we practice patience, we more directly experience impatience. And as we explore and experience impatience, we may be in the very act of growing patience. We've talked about the fact that patience doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to go our way or that conditions will improve or that they would be more like we would want them to be like. Our practice and mindfulness training is helping us to learn to be with what is here, just as it is. One of Buddha's first teachings was that the source of our suffering comes from our attachments. For instance, wanting something to be other than it is. And as we practice, we begin to understand the connection between attachment and impatience. Attachment fuels impatience. Practice helps us to really begin to know and to understand this in a deeper way. You know, it's not just this abstract thought. We really feel it, know it. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the fruits of patience. Because if we are orienting in the direction of well-being, patience, like all the paramis, serves us, helps us to cross the floods of dukkha. Patience helps to steady the heart in difficulty. I'm inviting you now to bring to mind someone or some being, past or present in your life, who has met you with a moment of patience. Or it may be a moment you witnessed between two people. It may be with a furry, four-legged creature. It doesn't matter. It may be even a moment between you and you. And if nothing comes to mind, no worries, we're exploring. But if some being comes to mind, I'm asking you to take a moment and quietly, privately say their name. We bring them into the gallery today as part of our holding environment. We remember a time when we were the lucky recipient of someone's patience. Last week, Lori talked about the slow learner, Kutapataka, and the patient directions that Buddha offered to him. And it got me thinking, when I was little, I had a difficult time doing small things. I couldn't print. And probably, I would have really benefited from an OT, right? But back in the day, I love it when they say back in the day, they didn't have OT. But one day, my mom brought home big pieces of paper and lots of colorful markers. And she said, let's do something fun. Let's print really big. And so we started to print the alphabet really big. A. B. I remember this one because I went down and up. B. And C. And we went on like that. And we put the letters on the floor and we walked them. This helped me learn how to print. I didn't get enlightened, but I something lit up. I learned how to print. Those experiences where we are seen with something we're struggling with and someone meets us, boy, oh boy, there's nothing better than that. And as I look back on this, I didn't name this as patience as a kid. But in this experience, my mom was patient, and the fruit of her patience for me was a sense of relief, a little more mastery, a little more confident. And I imagine my mom felt happy watching me absorb her lessons. So many gifts come from the right effort to be patient. And staying in this neighborhood, when my second husband, John, came into my life, my daughter became very unhappy. She was 11. And I thought, oh, this is never going to work. And there may be some of you who are step parents. That's a role I don't know. That is such an important role. I thought we're never going to be happy. Nobody thought we were going to be happy. This was a family in dukkha. And it was painful to watch her ignore him and be sarcastic and squawk and hiss at him. But he was steady and spacious and kind and patient. And you want to know what happened? Slowly, the tight grip started to loosen. And slowly, she softened and cared in her own good time. And slowly, she received his care. And slowly, they grew a friendship with hugs and jokes, often at my expense. And comfort slowly took the place of distress. And I know many families struggle. We weathered a difficult experience together and learned and grew as people and as a family. We all know that closeness can't be forced. It needs to be allowed. It needs to be warmed up. It takes the time that it takes. And the heart has its own timing. So patience has that quality of not escalating distress, allowing a lot of space for the other person to speak, or in my case, to print, and for the other person to restrain, to not react, even though inside you are reacting. Not perfect patience, but not putting another log on the fire. There is a generosity in restraint, patient restraint. No hurry. The Buddhist teacher Michelle McDonald writes on patience this way. She writes, patience isn't passive. It's motivated by an acceptance and compassion for suffering rather than a desire to eradicate it. There's a power in patience because it cuts through arrogance and ingratitude. It's the path that lets us move from resistance to acceptance and spontaneous presence. Holding on to our judgments about others and ourselves is a major cause of impatience. And she suggests repeating softly to ourselves, may I be happy as I am. May I be peaceful with whatever is happening. That they help us, support us to accept our vulnerabilities and imperfections and losses. Everything from chronic physical pain, emotional pain, to the death of a loved one or the end of a job or a relationship, even nightmare traffic jams. And so you see, we are learning how fruitful patience can be. Let's keep learning. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Let's take some time to patiently turn toward these bodies. There is no hurry. See what needs to open or stretch. Notice what might support you in settling today. Maybe a little sway. Maybe the neck needs to roll a little. Slowly coming into a posture that is comfortable and upright. Eyes can be closed or, if open, soft gaze downward. And we notice what's here with you today. If helpful, taking some deep, deliberate breaths. Inviting the eyes and face to relax. Maybe bring in the chin a little to help the neck relax. We deliberately set up the posture of this practice with an attitude of friendliness and kindness with whatever is here as you are. And for this little while, sensing any level of comfort or ease that is present for you, available for you. Softening and allowing. And orienting toward a comfortable breath. And the eyes soften a little more. The face soften. Kind eyes of patience. Softening and allowing. Nowhere to rush to in this moment. Life unfolds in this moment.
Thank you, Jay.
Oh.